Mississippi's 2025 legislative session is coming up pretty fast, and one of the top issues that people are watching, besides the ballot initiative, is mobile sports betting. Here's what tanked that bill last time and what Mississippi needs to do this coming year in order to catch up with our neighbors. Ironically, Mississippi was one of the very first states to allow legalized sports betting, but when it comes to being able to use our phones to place those bets, we are among the last. 30 other states already allow mobile sports betting, and every year that we don't have it, that money that could be coming to us is instead going to them. And it is no small amount. Mississippi leads the nation when it comes to placing illegal sports wagers. The amount that we wager every year illegally is around $3 billion. That's billion with a B. And of that, there's about $25 million in tax revenue that the state just never sees. It's the same thing we see anytime a state tries to legislate vices or morality, from prohibition all the way up to happy plants to the adult entertainment websites that Mississippians can no longer legally access. People always find a way. So, what got in the way last year of us making it legal? Naturally, there were a few of the familiar voices arguing the morality side, the same arguments that were used whenever casinos came into the state or whenever we got our lottery. And a few voices were bringing up the possibility of people developing an addiction, but these were not the ones that tanked the bill. Instead, as with most things, it came down to money. First and foremost was the argument over which casino should get the revenue of those bets being placed. A few of the lawmakers felt that the system that was proposed would wind up just sending a lot of money to the larger casinos on the coast, and a lot of the smaller casinos in other parts of the states wouldn't see nearly as much. The other concern came from lawmakers who represent the areas where the actual casinos are located. You see, when a person right now goes in to place a sports bet, they have to go to that casino. And when somebody walks into a casino to place a sports bet, there's generally a pretty good chance they're going to stick around and play a few of the other games. In other words, it's an incentive to get people into the building where they'll potentially spend more money. And if a person can place their bet from home, that's probably going to hurt the foot traffic going into those brick and mortar locations. A few lawmakers also thought that language in that bill might open up the door to iGambling, not just sports betting, which means that people could play slots, they could play poker, all those other games that you traditionally only can play in casinos. And the worry there is because Mississippi's casino industry is pretty big, and they don't want anything taking that money and sending it to out-of-state businesses. So, will the bill pass in 2025? That is the question, and it all comes down to whether or not our lawmakers can find a compromise for what to do with the money. For the most part, they want the bill because they know that we want the bill, or at least the majority of Mississippians want that bill. They just have to find a way to agree on the specifics, and those specifics have to be agreed to in both the House and the Senate here in Mississippi. What happened last time was they kept trying to change each other's language. I do expect this to be one of the top issues for 2025, right up there with our ballot initiative, Medicaid expansion, and tax cuts. So fingers crossed our lawmakers can figure out how to work together on this so the Mississippians can legally do what they're already doing and have already been doing for years.